Sit!
Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Rich Dotson. He's Matt O'Hara.
Hey.
He's Garret Price.
How's it going?
And we are talking end of the regular fantasy football season. That's right, folks. If you're listening, you're probably a happy camper because you're dug in. You're like, let me get a little bit of this championship caliber info coming in. And if you know what's great though, my favorite saying of all time is, not of all time.
There's
a lot of good ones.
That got reeled back quick.
Yeah. One of my
my favorite saying.
One of my
time.
top 100 favorite sayings.
Not of all time. This
I
is not my
remember
all time.
like it was yesterday. It was a Wednesday. Or was it a Tuesday? No, but one of my favorite dynasty sayings is, even when you're winning, you're losing. That's my saying.
That is your saying, and it is.
Or is it when you're losing, you're winning?
No, even when you're losing, you're winning.
There you go.
That's the one.
What did I say?
Even when you're winning, you're losing.
Like it.
It was a lot more pessimistic.
Well, if you listen to the show, you know my way with words is bad, and I could be dyslexic.
And if you're new to the show, welcome. Get used to it.
I got a lisp at times. I got dyslexic.
You currently have a goatee, which is probably throwing all sorts of stuff off.
Yeah, this is currently
looks good.
The most facial hair I've ever had.
I know.
I'm 46. It's the most facial hair I've ever had in my entire life.
I know. I didn't even know you had gray in your beard till just now.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I know,
It's all white in the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, my son said something to me. He's like, dude, well, he's like talking about beards. Very impassive. He's like, well, how would you know if you couldn't even try it? And I was like, yeah, you're right, I guess. So I'm not going to shave until 2026.
All right. Give it a shot.
We'll see how it goes.
Right.
I'm not a hairy person, and I don't think I can grow a beard at all, but we're going to see what happens. But yeah, I got a little...
Only one way to find out.
Yeah.
There it is.
Grow some people out one hair at a time. That's what I do. That's what I do for a living. I gross people out with my words. All kinds of things. Even though this Christmas party, I got a really good compliment. Somebody said I was drinking a lot, and somebody's like, dude, someone to my wife's like, dude, your husband is the funniest person I know.
Look at that.
Like, oh,
that is
thank
nice.
you so much.
Yeah, you'll take that, right?
I had a peeps rolling. I was pretty intoxicated myself, but
I mean, yeah, I would imagine.
I think I say wild stuff on this podcast. Wait till I get drunk. Very inappropriate. I'm a line crosser, a habitual line crosser.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
Can confirm. I've been there many a times when the line has been crossed.
So, end of the season, in Dynasty, it's right though. Even when you're losing, you're winning because it's a one league game that you play where like there's rules in place not to lose, right? Like the hardest thing as a Dynasty commissioner, all you commissioners out there probably know this is like the integrity of the league is like making sure people aren't tanking. And it's sad that you have to do that. Even in these old leagues where people get you're talking to these damn grown adults like they're children. Come on, dude, you know what you're doing,
Right.
Like this isn't rocket science. Like put your best lineup in. You can't start.
You've forgotten for the fourth week in a row that you don't start guys on bye.
Yeah, like I understand Cam Ward's on your taxi squad, but you're starting Deshaun Watson. You have to put a violent lineup in, dude. Come on. So Dynasty, the greatest game known to man, and the regular season's over. So if you didn't make the playoffs, why didn't you make the playoffs? What's your plan to move forward and make the playoffs going forward? Dynasty, the real season starts here in a couple weeks, right? Like the regular season's just kind of like all the work you did in the off season, let it play out. Now you make trades in season, but the real foundation's laid and the hard work is coming up. And this is where we kind of strive. Like in season for us is like we're navigating the waters, finding good buys, good sells, seeing how the market plays out. But like we really strive in this off season. As we're going to get ready here in the rookie season in about like a month, as we're really going to start digging in here, there's a lot of like reflection. And we're going to talk about that in tomorrow's show of what we learned. And this show is mostly the award section. It's kind of a fun show. Like, what did we learn this season? Who stepped up? Who let us down? Where do we give our awards? The same awards we give out every single year.
Yep.
And it's a good time to like take a breath, relax, take a step back. A lot of leagues don't have trades in a deadline. Watch how it all plays out. Hopefully you have some leagues in the playoffs, so you're still kind of competing.
Right.
I think out of all my leagues, I'm a little over 50% this year in the playoffs. I had a couple I had some teams this year, man, that really kind of floundered over the last couple of weeks. So
I would say one of my best teams just squeaked in. It was a weird year. Like I look back at some of the losses I had, and it was like when Jahmyr Gibbs went berserk. I played him in I have 5 leagues or 6 leagues in in sleeper. I played him in 4 out of the 5 or 5 out of the 6. And I got beat in like all of it. I was like, geez, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. But I had that, and I had another big week where another, it was like 2 running backs went off against me. So it was like, I had some pretty fluky losses along the way, but that stuff happens. That's what this is, man. You know what I mean?
We had a good group chat on one of my old leagues today. The guy so the playoffs are literally 1 through 6. Every team this is an old dynasty league, probably 18 years old or so, 17. No, somewhere, but old. Yeah, old. Second oldest league I'm in.
Is it which league?
Am I in it? My brother-in-law's league. Right. No, you're not in it. And
you're not in it, man.
1 through 6. All the teams 1 through 6 are 9-5. Dang. The guy with the 2 seed texted wild. We had this group chat like how wild fantasy. Because everyone's like, dude, fantasy football is so wild. And he's saying like, one guy said, he's like, dude, I am the 2 seed with a bye. If that game didn't, he played me. Just had to go back and look at this. Like, if that game didn't go into overtime last night, I missed the playoffs because Rich beats me, and I missed the playoffs. The team with the most points by 100, 8 and 6 missed the playoffs. All last night. It's a wild. It's wild, dude.
It can be crazy.
This group chat just going off like how wild it is, and that's like we always say like. When you're in that window to win a ship, like you really have to like grab it and not let go because you don't know. The best teams don't always make the playoffs. The best teams certainly never win. It takes one fluky Jahmyr Gibbs 40 game. All of a sudden you're facing Harold Fannin and Shedeur Sanders. You're like, dude, this is a wrap. And like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Shedeur just scored the 3rd most fantasy points since 1965 for a Cleveland Brown. Like, what's going on? So like, when we say on the show, like when you
I love that made up stat. You just
no, it's a real stat.
Is it really?
Yeah,
since 1965. That was way before fantasy points. Just somebody went back.
I saw it on fantasy. I think it was on Everything Report today. I saw it. Like I knew he had the most points since 2010. But I swear in the Everything Report, shout out to Scott Barrett and Ryan Heath that read that up. It's one of the best things out there. It said like I think it's the 3rd most fantasy points by a Cleveland Browns quarterback since like 1965.
I bet I know what the number 1 is. But it's Derek Anderson. That Cincinnati game where he had like 5 or 6 touchdowns.
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
Probably
6 touchdowns. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
That was a nuts.
Derek
game.
Anderson made the Pro Bowl that year in 2007. All thanks to Kellen Winslow and Braylon Edwards.
Size 17 shoes.
Amazing catches, man.
So, but all like that fun stuff. It's like it's that important when you see the ship and you have this opportunity. And we always say sometimes like to slightly overpay when you're in this window for a good player or something that can help secure your ship because it is so hard to win. A regular fantasy championship or a dynasty fantasy football championship. And it doesn't not matter how good your team is. I had a team, remember a couple of years ago, my high stakes league, and I talked about it all year. Like I went undefeated all the way to the championship game. I was like, don't worry though, I'm going to lose the championship game for sure. And I lost the championship game. Went undefeated all the way through. And I lost because it's that hard to do. So it's so important when you have that window to really go in there. And I know we're one of the few podcasts out there that really speak on it, like, dude, if you go for the ship at all costs, like, because that's what we play for, right? Yep. And I know dynasty, you gotta think long term, but like, there's a strategy behind it and doing it very smartly. And we're gonna talk about all that. But this is an award show, so why don't we get our presenter out here, Garret Price, and start handing these little trophies out.
White swagger. All right.
Oh, I like your cleavage.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Whoa, easy.
All right.
Hey, dude, I go to the beach, man.
Nobody wants to see that.
All right. Let's start here with the Nico Collins Award. The Nico Collins Award it took a player a while, but they're finally relevant. They're finally a player that you feel good about putting in your lineup. I had a harder time with this one, and then Rich was like, oh, yeah, this guy would have been really good. I was like, that would be actually a fantastic answer. So I don't have my favorite answer, even though it's the guy I picked. But who did you guys go with for the Nico Collins Award?
I had 2 guys I went here. I was thinking about.
You got to give it to a one.
My award, my runner up is.
I love that he's already making his own rules.
I always make our rules. I always want to. I want to have some like runner ups because again, I have no idea who your guys are. Yeah. Right. Like so, I don't want to have the same guy as like hopefully you as well. So like my runner up was Chris Olave. who finishes wide receiver 7 on the regular year, 13th in points per game. And he's always been there in the back burner. Been a solid guy, but first year is like a high end, like a decent wide receiver 1. But my pick for the Nico Collins Awards is George Pickens.
It's a great pick. I don't know how I didn't come up with that one.
And for me, what an emergence of his playing as a wide receiver. Finally run a full route tree out there in Dallas. Has really put himself into a big payday and finished the year regular season as wide receiver 3 in PPR. So seeing him get traded, love the fit. The moment it happened, we talked about on the show, him and Dak was a perfect fit from the get-go. So the Nico Collins Award finally broke out now, of course, at the perfect timing.
Oh, yes.
George Pickens. My only concern with him has always been his mentality and how he would be like after he got paid, if he'd still have that dog in him. And I hope so. But we won't know until it happens, right? Like, hopefully he's not like a Justin Blackman or something along those lines.
It sounds like, the Dallas Cowboys aren't opposed to even just slapping a franchise tag on him, which I think for people out there, that might not be bad for his fantasy value because he'll keep him hungry and keep him kind of needing to produce at a high level. So we'll see how that one kind of flushes out. But I like that pick. That obviously George Pickens, huge difference maker this year for everyone. That has him on the fantasy team.
Overall, wide receiver 3 on the season, points per game. He drops down a couple spots, but Drake London and Rashee Rice that missed a lot of time, so he's number 5 overall. But I mean, just what a great year, what a great spot for him, and it was good because you got to see him in both roles where he's the number 2, he's the Batman to CeeDee's Robin, and he looked great there. But when CeeDee was out, he was Batman, and he played the role just fine. So it was nice that we got to see kind of both this year because it does alleviate a little bit of that. What happens if he's outside of this ecosystem?
Else,
and, could he still do it as the guy? Remember, because think back to, Juju Smith-Schuster. What an amazing number 2 he was in Pittsburgh. But then he got the opportunity to be the number 1, and it didn't work out so well.
Yeah, and those are the kind of guys, it's weird, those guys always have questions, we question Juju, and we were right about Juju, right? And people are like, Juju's going to be awesome. I don't know.
Right.
But to see Pickens elevate his game from just running go routes and curls in Pittsburgh to a full route tree and be an opportunity to be a true number 1 has shown that he could be a championship caliber player, a cornerstone player, something that can help you literally get into the playoffs and win those championships.
I don't want to move off him without saying we did see some funk though happen this week, right? With him,
we did.
He defended himself pretty well about.
What did he say? Because I didn't hear.
He got called out and he said, "Listen, dude." He's like, from Richard Sherman. What did he say? Something about you don't understand what my route was supposed to be, what I was supposed to do here. It opened up Ryan Flournoy, what he was supposed to do, and he had all these catches. He did come out and say, listen, I wasn't not trying, this is what I was supposed to do here and here and here. So he at least had a defense for it, because that was a concern. Because Garrett and I talked about it before the show. My biggest thing with George Pickens is not his talent, right? Coming out of Georgia,
it's his attitude.
It's his attitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your only concern for players like that is when they get paid. The guys that aren't hungry for the game, that aren't that don't love the game and don't care as much. It was one of our concerns about Adonai Mitchell, right? Our number 1 concern about Adonai Mitchell.
Yep.
What happens when they get that guaranteed money? Because then it doesn't matter anymore. We saw it with because the fact is I've talked to players in the NFL and they say there's a lot of people that play in the game that don't love football, at all. They do it for the money or because they're talented. Obviously a guy like Andrew Luck didn't love playing football. Another great one, Justin Blackman, right? Unbelievably talented, comes in, top 10 pick, gets his money, doesn't even care after that. Starts smoking weed. I don't care. I got paid. And back then, that was even more guaranteed money, those top 10
those
picks.
rookies, yeah.
They're coming as the highest paid receiver at the time before the rookie wage scale. So we see that at times. So it is a concern. But, like Matt said, hopefully best case he does get franchise tags for your fantasy team. That's great news.
Right.
What do you got,
I wonder
Matt?
if we're going to see a little bit less of that with the NIL people, because they're coming in, they've already been paid a little bit. They're almost, it's almost like
might weed some guys out earlier.
Yes. Yeah. That, and they've already made some money. So it's you know what I mean? That's kind of, that stress has already been alleviated. So if they make that money in college and that's all they cared about and it's kind of done with them, you know what I mean? They're done with it. They're, we won't see as many, maybe we won't see as much.
Unfortunately, though, they don't, they're probably young and stupid because they don't realize how that money will not last. Most of those guys go broke. It's so hard. You hear guys like Odell Beckham on the latest podcast. How am I supposed to, this is not generational wealth. And I don't know how I'm supposed to
Could
live.
be if you were smart about it.
Yeah. He's like, people don't, because he got paid $100 million. He's like, people don't even realize, like, I had to give $40 million away that just in taxes. Oh, okay.
Still $60 million.
Yeah, give me 10% of that, bro, and I'll live the rest of my life as happy as a clam, and I'll be traveling the world. So,
all right. So anyway, sorry to get us off on a tangent about
you're good.
Money and NIL.
we all like money. Everybody listening to the show likes money.
Of course. My guy, Wan'Dale Robinson. So he isn't like you know, I don't think you hear the name Wan'Dale Robinson and go, I want this guy because he's like a super relevant guy. But this year he cranked out wide receiver 14 numbers on the year. Obviously, there's been like this steady climb. In his rookie year, 116, wide receiver 116, then wide receiver 53 last year, wide receiver 36 on a gazillion targets, 140 targets. So he was super inefficient. This year, he's wide receiver 14 on 110 targets, but he's just become a lot more efficient. So he's already, you know, way past the yardage total that he was at last year. He's already matched his touchdown totals from last year, and you know, obviously on 20 less receptions. So he's much more efficient. And I think the important thing here is this is year 4 for him. He's going to be a free agent. I don't know whether or not he's going to get there, or they want to, you know, they're going to want to lock him up. But I think he's shown enough here that he can be a difference maker if given the opportunity. And that's why I kind of wanted to at least highlight him here on this Nico Collins Award.
He's an award winner for me, too, down the show.
Oh,
he'll be getting called back up to the stage. A little teaser.
Okay.
Not for this award, obviously.
Obviously,
Right,
clearly.
different award.
He's walking away with multiple trophies.
Look at that. That always felt good, you know, going to the thing and you walk out with multiple trophies.
Yeah, those guys always look good.
Yeah, he looked cool. Like, hey, girls, what's up? But
Hey, girls.
Hey, girls, what's up?
and like literally at the time it is girls. Like you're like 12. But anyway, with that, I went with the receiver too. So we all ended up going wide receiver. I went with Jameson Williams here. He had a little bit of a breakout last year, but we've not seen him regularly do as well as he's done the second half of this season. I mean, he's putting up game after game where it's 17, 20 something, 20 something, 17, like just very, very solid, very, very good in the second half of the season. I'm loving the targets that I'm seeing for him too. He had that one like weird kind of fluke game, but it was 7, 7, 10, 7, like just a lot of really good target games as well. And I think part of this is, you know, we're missing Sam Laporta, and he's kind of stepped into that role really nicely. But this is a player that I think is going to continue, even though it's been a little bit more of a slow rollout than we would like to see typically for fantasy.
Had a very odd start to his
odd start to his career. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
First 2 years were almost completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know, he played in 6 games, only had 41 yards in year 1, and then in year 2 he only had 354 yards. So there was all the gambling stuff, and the injuries,
coming off the injury into the league,
yeah.
basically, and then it was gambling in his second year that kind of really 2 false starts, basically.
Exactly, but we're seeing him. He's stayed healthy this year, which is a big step forward for him. We're seeing him get in the end zone more. His best season was last year with 7 touchdowns. He's already at 6 with 4 games to go. So, you know, we could see higher touchdown numbers as well. Already 800 yards. He only got to 1,000 last year. So he's looking at breaking some of his kind of career highs. And he went from a player last year where I still, as a championship contender team, I had a hard time ever plugging him into my lineup. Where at this point in his career, I put him in and I feel very solid and steady about it. He's still going to have a weird game here or there, but for the most part, yes, they all do. Look at Jalen Hurts last night. Holy cow. What a terrible freaking game.
Yeah, interception and a fumble.
Yeah,
on the same play.
Same play.
I watched that like 5 or 6 times in a row.
Gosh.
I'm like, how does this happen, dude? Like,
My gosh.
You know there was somebody that got eliminated from the playoffs because of that play. You know what I mean?
100%.
And you're like, you got to be kidding me. How do you throw an interception and lose a fumble on the same play?
It was the opposite Josh Allen, where like he threw the one pass and then they pitched the ball back to him. He got the passing and the rushing touchdown 2 years ago. It was like the reverse of that.
It really was.
Yeah, and this is one of the things. I mean, it's always one of those. It goes back to going back to a little bit of the Juju Smith-Schuster. Like Jalen Hurts is always a quarterback that we've said on the show. Like, and listen, we gave him his props. He won a Super Bowl, and he had that one beautiful pass down there. And he's a very solid quarterback. We've always said like he's a slightly above average NFL quarterback.
Top 5 guy again this year.
And for me, like some of those words came out. Like this team without a good offensive line, like where does Jalen Hurts come through? A lot of picks yesterday. Still a Super Bowl quarterback, obviously going to win a Super Bowl, above average quarterback. But my concerns with Jalen Hurts always will be, we saw his rushing. They showed a stat last year. It's like half of what it used to be. His rushing stats. Like, where does Jalen Hurts stand as a long-term dynasty fantasy football quarterback? There's still concerns there for me.
And get back to Jameson Williams. The one thing I really do like, I mean, obviously you were talking about consistency, and he was up and down at the beginning of the season, but once Dan Campbell took over the play calling is when things
really
steadied out. And I just wanted to make sure that, we tell the people why, in case they aren't as tuned in to Jameson Williams and the Detroit Lions.
He's done a very good job play calling.
Yes,
steady. He's eliminated the David Montgomery kind of mess, where we've seen Jahmyr Gibbs take a really big step forward in this offense, and while still keeping Amon-Ra, St. Brown heavily involved, and Jameson Williams seeing a significant role. So I think he's done a really good job play calling. We'll see if that continues into 2026, but excited.
All right, let's go to the I'm Ready to Get Hurt Again award. Player that disappointed you this year, but you're more than willing to still draft or trade for them in the future. Who you guys got?
I'm going to start on this one, and this was a guy but before this week, I wouldn't have said this.
Wow, one game made a big difference for you.
My guy is Jalen Wright, man. 22-year-old running back, had done absolutely nothing. This week, he gets 24 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown.
I told y'all, bitches.
I'm back. I am back on the bandwagon. Jalen Wright, man. He can do it.
I told y'all.
He can do it, man. I can't wait to see him next year.
I got so many shares, it's ridiculous. And I'm sitting there and I watched it. And I'm like, see, dude, look, this is. I spent the whole summer talking up Jalen Wright, and what I thought he could. I was like, dude, this guy's gonna be like an RB2, dude. Just like he's gonna be the Raheem Mostert in this offense, and then dead in the water. It just the season starts and it's like I'm swimming with sharks. I got 85 cuts on me. It's like, oh, this is bad.
85 cuts.
Yeah, it's a lot of cuts. I'm bleeding profusely.
I jumped into a vat of razor blades.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like that dude that jumps into the razor blades that does that wrestle and stuff. That weirdo. But dude, he looked. That's everything I thought he'd be. Now, unfortunately, he just needs Devon Achane to get a little rib boo boo for that to happen. But like that was until he didn't. Achane played a third of the game.
And the important thing was it was him above Ollie Gordon. You know what I mean?
Ollie Gordon had 85 cuts in the water in that game too.
Yeah. So maybe we're going to see. I mean, obviously after a performance like that, hopefully we'll see a little bit more towards the end of the season. Who knows, man? They're winning games. You know what I mean? Like Miami has turned their season around.
Yeah, Mike McDaniels might be back, baby.
Right, and I think it's mostly because of the running game. And
let me a little teaser because I got another work coming down the road. It's all because of the running game.
Devon Achane's been
Waddle's been great.
He's been very solid. He's been very solid.
Yeah, it's
and Tua's done enough.
Oh, well, I got some Tua stats for you later.
Enough.
We'll talk about him.
Can't wait for the Tua stats.
Yeah. Over the last 6 weeks.
All right, who you guys got?
Dude, he's more like tuna. He's in the water too.
Who do you guys got, man? Come on.
Oh, I got my Hurt Again award. Listen, I go a lot of different ways here. I can go.
I know. I had a few different guys.
But I'm gonna give a name here that hurt again. This is the first time I'm hurt. Does that count?
Yeah, like you're ready to get hurt again next year.
Like you've been hurt now.
You were hurt this year, and you're ready to get hurt again.
I believe, right? I'm trying to make it right.
Yeah.
Somebody who I still think could be a wide. He finished last year as a wide receiver 1. Was wide receiver 24 overall this year in PPR. That I still heavily believe in. Still gets open a lot. Like his separation score is still fantastic. It's Ladd McConkey. Really weird in that Chargers offense. Herbert still looks pretty damn good. The run game looks good. We saw the Martin Hampton yesterday.
Yeah.
I think next year, getting Rashawn Slater back, getting Joe Alt back with a healthy offensive line. We saw Justin Herbert take 7 sacks yesterday. Yeah. He doesn't have the time to really get out there and throw the football a ton.
And he's beat up, man.
Yeah, the first couple games, he looked unbelievable early on those first couple games. I think Keenan Allen moving on after this year, having an established run game. I think Ladd McConkey is going to step back into that wide receiver 1 role, top 12 fantasy football wide receiver. Yeah. So I'm personally encouraged. There's some guys I've been kind of taking some notes on, like who I want to kind of like target this offseason. Guys like Cam Ward is on that list in Superflex leagues. But Ladd McConkey, I think this wide receiver 24 finish could be a blessing when it comes to finding some good value where you'll be able to find and actually acquire him for like a first plus, some players that I can go out there and get for. So for me, I'm ready to get hurt again on Ladd McConkey because I think coming in, the year that we expected out of him, after what he did his rookie year. Finished as wide receiver 24, which is still solid. Has been a big disappointment. So,
where is he at this year?
Wide receiver 24.
This year
overall.
is 24.
I mean, I had RJ Harvey was a good option who I thought was going to be a high-end guy here. Dalton Kincaid is another easy one out here. But that was because of injuries as well. So I don't want to use injuries as an excuse.
I kind of tried to stay away from that as well.
So I'm trying to just use his overall production there. And Saquon had a bad year, but I'm not really get hurt again on Saquon. But Ladd, go ahead and get out the belt.
Wow.
Somebody's been a
Sounds like you're causing the hurt.
Somebody.
I'm ready to take the pain again.
I like it.
Buckling my pants, Garrett.
I like it. All right. I ended up going with Ashton Genty. And this is one where some people are going to be like, well, I mean, did you really get hurt?
He's running back 14.
He's running back 14, but everyone had him as a running back 1 this season. There were a lot of people that had him as top 6 type running back 1 this season. And I think when you started busting out the Bijan Robinson comps and, all that kind of stuff, I think the sentiment on Ashton Genty is we're disappointed. And when I watch him, there's a couple bad habits that I think he's getting into a little bit, but it's because of how bad this offensive line is. Yeah. This offensive line is just absolutely atrocious. Yeah. And so do I believe in him long-term? Yeah. He's still averaging 14 points per game. He's not a bad player. He's not killing your team. He's just not carrying your team at the 18, 19 points per game level like people thought he could. And he does have the talent to do. So I am willing to jump back in. He's dropped 2 spots for me in my running back rankings. So I had Achane behind him. Achane's now ahead of him. Yep. And I actually moved Hampton ahead of him. So I switched him and Hampton. Okay. But I see those two as interchangeable, and Trayvon's not far behind them.
Trayvon's another one I could say I'm going to get hurt again.
Yeah.
But
our expectations were higher than I think everybody else's.
Sure. Right. Really high.
Yeah.
Really high.
So
boy, do I love that time when I was like, I'm going to trade out a 2 spot just so I get Henderson over Hampton. I'm like, oh, that worked out well. Yeah. But hey, 2026 will tell me if I'm wrong or not.
You never know. Yeah. You never know. But the guy I almost went with, but I was like, do I really want to get hurt this bad? Was Caleb Johnson, where I was like,
oh, dude,
I don't know that I want to get that hurt.
I don't.
I'll twist my ankle, but I'm not trying to be in a coma.
I'm gonna talk about him in tomorrow's show.
Okay, all right, there you go.
I learned a lesson from that one.
There we go. All right, let's go to the next one. Rich's favorite award, the Kim Kardashian Award, Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, this is. I think this is easy. I wouldn't be surprised if we're somewhat consensus. I don't know who your guys is.
Yeah,
is your guys a running back?
It is.
Does he play for the Cowboys?
Yeah, he does.
So it's unanimous?
It's Javonte.
Yeah. Wow, Javonte Williams. Woo.
Congratulations.
Favorite Williams.
He had to be the guy. I mean, there were a couple. I thought about Daniel Jones as a possibility, but it felt cruel to pick that for him when he's out again.
Oh, so devastating.
You didn't come all the way back because you gone again.
I mean, for the regular season, he came back, but he left me with a dud with 3 points.
Yeah. So he just... I was worried we would never see even 75% of the juice that he had as a rookie. Because as a rookie, he looked like a world beater. I mean, just throwing guys off him, breaking tackles, just looked so good. And then, but he had to share some time with Melvin Gordon, and it was annoying. Kind of like Ramondre with Trayvon. It was kind of like that, where it's like...
Melvin Gordon, forgot about him already. God,
it's crazy how...
time flies so quick.
It does, dude.
Melvin Gordon, Dalvin Cook years. Great stuff. And LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah. But all that being said, I don't know that he has quite exactly the same juice that he had as a rookie, but pretty darn close. At least 90-95% of it, because he looks like I remember him on tape. He looks like the guy he did his first year in Denver. He's breaking tackles. He's getting the yards he should, and then some extra as well. So it's just really good to see a guy that you root for. He's, by all accounts, is just a great dude as well, and succeeding. You love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, running back 7 a year. You're right. I thought we were getting a jar of concentrate. 100% juice.
100% juice, baby.
We're in there. This is pure natural. Again, it's a running back, so it's a very fickle position.
Sure.
Who's a free agent. So much could change. Kind of go back to George Pickens. You really just hope he stays in Dallas. That's best case
100%.
scenario. Because honestly, anywhere else he moves, you have to say, that's kind of a sell opportunity, right?
Probably.
You go somewhere, he gets paid, I might want to sell this. I want him back in the system, in the same offense, with Schottenheimer, with Dak. Sign Javonte, tag George Pickens, and you got a 2-year window here of Javonte, and that's fantastic.
And I think it's possible, too. I don't think he's going to be requiring that much. I think we're looking at maybe like an $8 million per year.
Maybe even less, dude. Even guys like, you got to imagine J.K. Dobbins went over 1,000 yards. Somebody wants to sign him. He gets paid for like $3 million, right? Like, it's like
he was hurt again too, and
dude. But you want to like, how many teams are going to really invest in long-term money in a guy like Javonte? Like, even in Dallas, you know what I mean? It's hard for these running backs to get paid. Every year we see it. Like, these guys are real hard to get paid.
It helps this class. That it's not a good running back class in the draft. That's what helps these guys a lot. But there's a lot of
free agents though, too.
That's the thing. There's a lot of free agents. Even like where's Sean Tucker going to go? Where's Brian Robinson going to go? Where's like guys that we don't love, but could find themselves taking money from somebody else that we think would be a better fit for that job.
J.K. Dobbins.
Or a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? Like a guy that could just be like,
you signed Ramondre and Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah. What a weird offense this is going to be. Like, just stupid stuff. So we'll see what happens, but I think he was the most obvious comeback player of the year candidate.
The Kim Kardashian Award. Unanimous,
of course.
All right, love it. Let's go to the next one here. The I told you so player. The player you had a strong opinion on, and you were totally right.
I'm out of order.
Uh-oh. Oh, I did skip one. I apologize. We'll come back to that one. The Mr. Consistent Award. That was my fault. I apologize. Mr. Consistent Award. Always a good start, but not necessarily an elite special player. Who you guys got?
2 years running now. So this dude's
ran it back?
Super. Yeah, and Josh Jacobs, he did it again.
That was my guy too. I did Josh Jacobs.
He did it again, man. He was my guy last year, and I had him in the slot, and I just kind of copied and pasted this thing over. I'm like, I'm not changing. This guy is awesome. He's just going to get you.
Copy paste.
I did the same thing, only I had Mahomes last year, and I was like, he's played too well. He can't be in there.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's not flashy. Like, I don't think he gets the kind of respect that he should around the league, but he week in and week out, he's scoring double-digit points for you. A lot of times he's hitting those 30 numbers as well, like something crazy. He only has one dud on the season. That was week 11 against the Giants. And
more than 10 points every time other than that.
Other than that, over 10 points every single week.
One of the most underrated fantasy football greats there is.
Yeah.
Been in the league since he's 21. Has been a running back one every single year outside of his last year with the Raiders. Just a high-end fantasy running back, one of the best rookie draft picks you could possibly make. So underrated.
You just put him in your lineup and forget about it. So that is why I have him as Mr. Consistent, because if you have a player like that, he's invaluable. You basically have one spot you don't worry about at all. And how often can you look at a lineup and just be like, I don't have to worry about my wide receiver one or my running back one? Like, there's always some sort of week in and week out concern. Like, how do I like the matchup? No, you don't care about the matchup. You just put him in there and forget about it.
And he stayed relatively healthy over his career too, which that in my mind plays into the consistency factor as well. Yeah, he missed a game, but like most running backs are going to miss a game over the course of the season. Like, he's such a good player.
My Consistability Award goes to, I almost gave it to DeAndre Swift.
Okay. Actually, yeah, I should change that.
You should change it. These should be podcast awards, like Gluteus Minutes. But anyways, Consistability Award goes. I almost went DeAndre Swift, because he's been pretty solid all year long.
He really has.
Right? Like, but I actually went a different route. I went quarterback here. I went Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. Trevs.
Somebody who just gets, doo-doo butt on all the time. And everybody kind of, because he's not the greatest NFL quarterback, but he's always solid. He's quarterback 12 overall right now, 15th in points per game with 17.5. And if you look back over the year, like, he's just been pretty steady week in, week out. Been very consistent. Had to go up, and that's going without, like, Brian Thomas being hurt. Brian Thomas not putting up a lot of points all year. Travis Hunter kind of like finding his way and doing guys like Parker Washington, Brent Strange, the running game. So Trevor Lawrence gets my Consistability Award of the year. Just been very steady, an acquirable dynasty asset. Yeah. Somebody who I went out, like I think I talked about in the summer. Like I think he was my number one buy in 2025, like I bought the most shares of, was Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. I was kind of like optimistic about getting the Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas together, and he was absolutely actually obtainable. Really trying to find value, and I thought he was very valuable. So like overall, I feel very good about return with him obviously being quarterback 12 and a 17.5 point per game. Like I'm very happy with.
I love this for fantasy purposes. I just have one kind of, I guess, gnawing question in the back of my mind, and I think it'll help get some clarity as to how we feel about him long term. How would you feel, both of you guys, if T-Law was the Browns starting quarterback?
Oh, dude, from what I've had to witness over my whole life, I'd probably have a shrine somewhere going, I'd probably have long hair.
Okay, so you'd be down for it. Garrett made a kind of funny face.
I did. It's just, yes, it's better, but it's like, congrats, you're the skinniest kid at fat camp. Like, that's not saying much. Like
that's kind of where I'm at, and that's why I asked the question. Like, I think he's great from afar, and he's obviously shown some good. He's done some good things for fantasy.
What's horrible is I think Trevor Lawrence is like Shedeur's ceiling. I think Trevor Lawrence is Shedeur Sanders' ceiling.
Sure. Probably. Yeah, probably. If we get lucky, that's what
that doesn't make me feel good.
Right. That's why they should draft a quarterback.
But you're right.
Next year.
You're like, listen, I mean, because NFL, I'm sorry, no. It's like literally the haves and have-nots. Yes. And you like Trevor Lawrence is that quarterback that needs everything around him to go win a Super Bowl.
He is. And that's kind of, when you're thinking of dynasty fantasy football, you have to, if you look in small windows, T-Law, great. But if you zoom that thing out to the bigger picture, which is like, is he going to have longevity in the league? Is he going to be sticking around?
Yes.
The money says yes.
But he's that kind of quarterback that sticks around.
There's going to be a point where it's like, all right, we got to replace this guy. You know what I mean? Like he's just not getting us to the Super Bowl. And I'm not ready to throw that towel in because I think Liam Cohen is kind of squeezing as
they're
much,
a playoff team.
Squeezing as much juice really out of this thing as possible.
It's weird because it hasn't been a great fantasy season for the Jaguars, but they're winning games.
The Panthers, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback 12 overall.
So weird.
The Jaguars are 9 and
Kansas
4,
City and the Lions are out.
So what
a weird
perfect example. Kansas City stinks right now, right? They're playing terribly. Let's say Kansas City squeaks in and they have to play Jacksonville. Do you feel better?
Taking Casey off.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole point. Like,
we'll see.
Yeah,
real quick
until he does it. Right?
The other guy that I wanted to get in, we already mentioned him, was Daniel Jones. All but one game, we're not going to count his injury game. All but one game, he was over 15.8 points per game. Like, just really steady, consistent all year long.
This is Danny Dimes we're talking?
Yeah, Daniel Jones. So he was another one that I considered for it, but I went with Josh Jacobs as well.
I'm going to send him a card.
It's so sad.
That is so sad.
Now, after the Consistability Award, which has a red line underneath it because it's not a real word and I didn't know how to spell it. But the I Told You So Player Award, the player you had a strong opinion on and were totally right.
So I
too.
Of course, Rich is like Rich
I kept track of all of them, actually.
A good and a bad.
So the I Told You So, I only have a bad, and it's Saquon Barkley. And I gave plenty of warnings. You look at his over 378 is what he ended up having touches last season in 2024. I warned people there was going to be a dip this year. That's just too many carries for that to kind of happen. And this year, obviously, it's not horrible.
He's still
he's running back 17 right now. Or at least when I when I clipped this, and that was before last night's game.
Yeah, so last night's game, I think it bumped him
he's
up.
13.
13.
So he's
or wait, no, I'm on standard. Hold on. He is at 12.
Okay. So I guess it's not that bad.
I think it is from an expectation standpoint.
But from an expectation,
14.4, I think if you were expecting a dip, because he was like 21, 22 points per game last year, like your dip, you're like, okay, I'll be okay with 18 points.
Yeah.
Not 14.4.
Which he got last night.
Right.
And that was like
he went from Superman to like a mere mortal. You know what I mean? In the 1 year there. And
he went to Superman to like Robin.
Superman to like Aquaman.
Like he's still in the comic book. Well, at least Aquaman can talk to fish.
Robin's like Captain Planet.
He's like Boy Wonder with some gadgets out there. He's like at the Super Soaker 5000.
But anyway, I told you so. I don't know. Saquon.
Totally right.
You were right.
Yeah.
I wish I would have sold more Saquon shares. So I would listen to you, but I did not. You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, you have two, so one, and then maybe Garrett, and then come back to you.
So I told you so from a bad standpoint.
Okay. So you got two awards. You bought two of them.
Let's keep the baddies rolling.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Isaiah Pacheco. I said all year before here, man, like this is somebody who they re-signed Kareem Hunt, which worried me. This is a team that wanted to get off of Isaiah Pacheco, then loved where this team was going. And I was right, man. He's averaging 6.9 points per game, running back 53 in a year. I know he missed some games as well, but still, like even the points per game kind of tells it. It's just been kind of non-startable at all. Like, and you had some value to get out from there, from them. And I said, I was like, this is the last time you'll have value, I think, to sell Isaiah Pacheco. And, kind of the things where kind of like I told you about Jalen Wright. I was like, dude, you got to play Jalen Wright. He's going to be a stud.
Got to be a stud. Got to do it.
Stud week 14 only. Week 14. Isaiah Pacheco's going to be bad all year. J-Dubs, week 14.
Week 14, start him. Fire him up.
All right. Mine, it's one of our most liked TikToks of the year. Right. I did a video on dark horse players to be number one overall at their position. And at wide receiver, I picked JSN. Woo. And he's playing pretty good. He's playing pretty good. Honestly, that whole video was great. Like, borderline clairvoyant.
You should retweet it.
Until...
You should retick it.
Retick it. Retalk that tick.
Reticky-ticky-tabby.
Quarterback, I had Drake May. I had Drake May at quarterback, who's eaten. I had Devon Achane at running back, who's not far off. I had Jackson Smith and Jigba at wide receiver. And then David Njoku at tight end. Totally ruined it.
3 out of 4. It's 75% Hall of Famer.
So close.
Still pretty good, though.
So close. But yeah, and it's funny because usually when we get something right on a video or whatever, it's like silent. But I had so many people that, with Sam Darnold, you mean Jackson Smith and Jigba that couldn't beat out Tyler Lockett? Like so many guys that like everybody else is now coming back to the video like, oh yeah, how about that JSN wide receiver one? Like, so it's actually nice for once because like everybody's coming back on like the other side of it and trash talking everybody else. So it's kind of nice.
Kim Kardashians. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. All those comebackers.
And then I told you so to you two specifically.
Oh boy, here we go. Right to us.
Travis
to
Etienne.
our face.
Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
It's true.
Running back 10 on the year. Has looked good all year long. Played the entire second half on Sunday after Tua fumbled the football. Just somebody who I thought in a contract year, given this opportunity, I didn't believe in Tua enough to come in there and steal the job. I thought on the touches and mostly in his passing game that he had a chance to finish as a running back 1. And he did. Running back 10 on the year. I'm excited about who's still unbelievably attainable, who's going to be a free agent, has a chance to go somewhere. Just, again, really kind of undervalued. And that's why I thought the rebound this year would be a nice rebound year. And I told you guys so. And you guys told me you couldn't get on that train, but this train went choo-choo all the way home.
This is his most efficient year in the past 3 seasons ever since his first. As far as yards per carry, he was down in 3.8, 3.7 for the past 2 seasons. He was 5.1 in his first year where he actually played. And then this one up to 4.6. So
he's looked good.
He definitely rebounded and looks better in this system than in the past.
It was interesting, too. Going back to Isaiah Pacheco, how you mentioned, right here you can see it. I put out like my year-long projections. This was the first year I did it. And on the sheet, you could see the top 35 running backs. And Isaiah Pacheco wasn't on it. And somebody was like, where's Isaiah Pacheco? Did you leave him off? I was like, nope.
He's off.
He didn't make the cut.
That's intentional.
Yeah. All right, let's go to We've only got a few awards left. Let's go to the pleasant surprise player that way outperformed your expectations.
I'm gonna go real quick just because mine's that repeat offender going home the multiple trophy. Wan'Dale Robinson, who Matt gave it to earlier. We talked about before, Garrett. Like I think in the offseason, like wow, because he
was a blind resume
in
guy.
The summer, like a guy who had like unbelievable amount of targets, and it ended up being like wide receiver 30, whatever. And you're like. But hey, just to kind of throwing it out there, like this could be something. Like I remember you specifically bringing it up. You and I had a conversation about it in the summer. Like, hey, for anybody that want to make a trade, like this could be something. So I was like, yeah, it could be, but maybe not. But and then obviously it took him a Malik Neighbors injury as well to come into fact in the emergence of Jackson Dart. But yeah, very pleasant surprise, averaging 14.4 points per game. Matt mentioned wide receiver 14 on the year in PPR, a true championship caliber player at that point. Somebody who had not even pegged in your lineup, who, at probably like on a good team is your wide receiver 3, who's a high-end wide receiver 2. That's how you win Dynasty Fantasy Football Championships. A very pleasant surprise, Wan'Dale Robinson.
I am also going with a repeat offender here, or award winner. George Pickens is my pleasant surprise. So I feel like there's some crossover here with
another multi-award winner.
Yeah, each of us didn't pick the same guy twice, but sometimes we picked each other's for other awards and stuff.
Hardware's going out.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, George Pickens, we talked about him before, but wide receiver 3 on the year, wide receiver 5, I think, as a points per game at 18.9. Just a huge leap, and obviously more than I thought was going to be kind of available in that offense with CeeDee Lamb there. They were really chucking the heck out of that ball.
I went with I went with Harold Fannin on this one. Of the three of us on the rookie show, was the lowest on Harold Fannin. I didn't really like him that much. I liked him after the catch, and that was about it. And he has significantly outperformed my expectations. So definitely somebody that went from a guy that was, I think he was my tight end 6, and you had him at 3.
I told you so.
And see, look at this. I don't do this. You see what he does to me?
I see it, man. I see it.
Hurts so bad.
I only remember the good one. Would you tell me?
But yeah, you had 3. I think you had him at 3 or 4 or something like that. And I had him lower than that. I had like Mason Taylor, and then I had Elijah Roro, and maybe it was Gunnar Helm.
I think I had Mason Taylor above him.
Okay, so I think you had him at 4.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, another multi-hardware guy we're about to talk about, Harold Fannin.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right. Rookie Value Award. I wonder what that is.
Harold Fannin.
Hey!
That's my Harold Rookie
Right,
Value Award.
right.
Went in the 3rd round of just about every rookie draft there was this year, whether it be tight end premium or 1 QB. That's where we went in the 3rd round. The best value, hands down. It looks like I moved him up in my tight end ranks in Dynasty. This looks like a guy who's going to be a player for a while. One of the youngest players in the NFL at 21 years old. And you mentioned, Garrett, one of the things that he's very good at is when he gets the ball in his hands. Yep. He is like Tucker Kraft, essentially. He's always getting extra yards, and his route run is pretty solid. Kind of Bowling Green should only get better.
That was the thing I wasn't sure about, and that's what's impressed me overall is he's running much better routes than I thought he was capable of.
It looks like the clear-cut number 1 weapon in this offense as well for the Cleveland Browns. I can't wait to see Harold Fannin even with another true number 1 receiver. I think the best rookie value by a large. I almost went Jackson Dart because where he went, definitely, but it'd be more like just super flex. That's probably where the best value was. But I think overall, anytime you that 7 percentile, right? That's a 7 percentile to hit on a 3rd round pick. When you finally get one of those guys, that's how you change the directory of your dynasty team. When you start hitting on those 3rd round picks, late 2nd round picks, and adding multiple players in a rookie draft that are outside the 1st round, is how you really build a foundation for a good team. And I think that's exactly what Harold Fannin is to me, a foundation piece, and happy to have all the shares that I do.
No doubt about it, man. Great pick. I actually picked my player knowing that you were going to pick him. So I was like, I'm going to stay away from Harold Fannin because I know my good friend Rich over here is going to pick him. So I went a little bit later. This is a guy that went closer to the 5th round. In the leagues that I played in, he went 4.11 on average. And that real deep guy is Aranda Gadsden.
Okay, so
wow.
Those were 2 guys that I was considering for my award, not who I picked, though.
I'm glad you did.
Didn't even cross my mind. Way better pick than mine, I guess.
Just because I knew it was, I knew Harold Fannin was going to be Rich's pick because I just know how Rich thinks. But then I was like,
what am I thinking right now?
Boobs.
Damn it! Got me again. Damn it! So predictable.
So predictable. That was a good one, actually. That was not what I was going to say. But probably right. But anyway, he's closer to the 5th round, and obviously right now, I think wide receiver 20 on the league. He's right there with Colson Loveland, who was a 1st round draft pick, basically, as far as the standings this year for fantasy. So Aranda Gadsden, I think, is a great value.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good one. Both those guys I considered.
The one thing that stinks is he's kind of taken a little bit of a step back, and it was ever since Joe Alt kind of got injured. They've been kind of, I think, using tight ends to block more and help the tackles. So his numbers have gone down a little bit.
And less time to throw, unfortunately.
Exactly.
I ended up going, this one probably isn't a huge surprise either. Kyle Monangai for me was the rookie value. A guy that was going 4th round pick, 5th round pick, 7th round of the NFL draft. But when he's been getting opportunities, he's been producing 10 or more points in every game that he's had double-digit touches, except one. He obviously had the huge game against Cincinnati, 26 attempts for 176 yards, but he's had other 100-yard rushing games as well. He had the big one on Thanksgiving against Philadelphia, and he's just been, he's been averaging almost 5 yards per carry this season. Really, really solid, and a player that I liked a lot, but he's even exceeded my expectations to some extent because they've been willing to use him even in the passing game some, which wasn't a strong suit, but he's looked fine doing it. So I've just been really, really enthused with how good he's looked this season. So he was my rookie value pick. All right, let's go on to the actual rookie of the year. And this one was a little tricky for me.
This one was hard.
I settled on who I think it should be, and I feel pretty good about it. But it took me a little bit to really decide who I wanted.
I mean, I think earlier in the year it would have been Cam Scatterbo, right? Like slam
Dude,
dunk
No,
before
early
that
in the year
dude.
it would've been a Mecca.
Yeah.
Yeah, early and
First
then
5 weeks of the season,
slightly
It was a-
late,
it was a
later
whole-
early by week 8. It was
Right.
Cam, and then he got hurt. And
Yeah.
then because Cam averaged 16 points a game, like he was eating.
Yes.
But yeah, Emeka was like 20 points a game to start the year.
Yeah, for the first 5 weeks of the season, and
he's really cool off.
Listen, I think this class overall is a very solid class. Like I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the first round. I think this is the patient class.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you
It'll
got
take
all
us a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't think you got everything you want to get. I'm very optimistic for the future of this class. Obviously, Jackson Dart, somebody could have won this award for me. I didn't give it to it.
He was in the running for me as well.
Yeah, I
Did
still
not
think
win.
Cam Ward. I know you said you're totally out on Cam Ward, but I still like the foundation Cam Ward. I still think he'd be a really good quarterback there. Love all the running backs. Love the early receivers here. Obviously, the tight end is probably the greatest tight end class we will not ever see, but that we've seen
So
far. But I think my rookie of the year was. At first, I thought it was going to be hard, but look at the numbers. I thought it was actually pretty easy. It was Ted McMillan.
Okay. I considered him.
Very consistent.
He's my number 2.
He was wide receiver 13 overall. His rookie year on the Carolina Panthers, who a team is kind of struggling and winning. He's a big part of that as well. And if it was super flex, I'd probably give the Jackson Dart for like how well he's played through controversy.
He's my 3rd.
But overall, for me, it's just Ted McMillan. The chance to still be a wide receiver 1 on a year as a rookie is such a huge accomplishment with how talented they're like the whole NFL is amongst these receivers and how deep it goes with talent. I think Ted McMillan has really solidified himself as an alpha receiver, a cornerstone player on your team. Somebody you could actually consider taking in the late second round of a startup draft right now. So for me, my rookie of the year was Ted McMillan.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I was going back and forth between Ted, Jackson Dart, and the guy I ended up picking, Tyler Warren. So I mean, for me, tight end 4 on the year, obviously. He's had he's going to have a little bit of a rough end to this season, I would imagine, with whomever they roll out there, be it Riley Leonard or
sure. Phillip Rivers, maybe.
Phillip freaking the mummy that is Phillip Rivers. If they
He's
could
so
dust
awesome.
him,
He
off.
was getting a Hall of Fame votes. He was like, as one of,
He's a finalist. Oh, it's awesome.
and it resets,
Dude,
which
I
is
went-
hilarious.
just so-
Oh,
if you're in a
my
league
God.
with me, I went all fab.
Did you?
Every league. Even leagues I wasn't even that I missed the playoffs in on that guy.
Didn't
I went,
care.
Oh, dude, because if I can't have him, I went all fab.
I can't have.
I mean,
no
at that
one
point, you might as well.
and the news, because I was like, dude, maybe like I can get him on waivers, and somebody will give me like a 3rd round pick for him because they need a quarterback.
Right.
And like the fact that my favorite news about the Phillip Rivers is he was running the Colts offense for his high school team as coach, and so he's just ready to go.
That
Yep.
is hilarious.
No sense setting up.
That is hilarious. So anyway, Tyler Warren, we'll see how the end of the year goes. For me, I think, just came in as such a difference maker. He can win in so many different ways, and they're using him creatively enough that for me, he's the top rookie.
I did end up going with Jackson Dart. You both mentioned him, but both of you were too big of cowards to do it. I did it. I pulled the trigger.
Not coward, just very close. I thought he didn't deserve it over, you know who.
Jackson Dart for me, when his points per game is a little deceiving because his second game, he had negative 0.3 points, and he had 0.3 points in week 3. So they were end of the game, clean up, kneel down,
throw that stuff out. Yep.
type of situation. So from week 4 on a points per game basis, he's quarterback 4 on the season. I mean, he has just been absolutely eating. His worst game, he had 13 points, which is, still better than some of the best games from Cam Ward. So, and I'm not even joking, that would be like his 2nd or 3rd best game.
I'm aware.
So Jackson Dart, if you can put up 22 points per game, that's just an absurd number. I think when he played, he was the biggest difference maker out of all of these rookies. So I had to go with him for my rookie of the year.
All right.
All right. Last 2. The LVP. Least valuable player. Now, we're not picking a guy that got injured like week 2 and missed all year. But maybe they missed a little bit of time with injury. But overall,
I'm picking a guy that got injured and after week 5, he hasn't played. I don't care. I know we're not supposed to, but Rich breaks the rules all the time.
All
and
right.
I just want to take this
it.
time to bash Kyler Murray and say he is the least valuable player. He's my LVP.
Oh, I'm going to one-up you.
You're going to one-up me?
yeah.
QB 17 on the year in the first 5 games. I mean, obviously, injury happened. We can't tell if he got soft benched, if he got hard benched. We don't know what actually happened, if the foot is okay by now or not. But they're moving on from this guy. And
Schefter, when Schefter's tweeting, like, now the question is, where does Kyler Murray pay in 26?
Right.
I think the writing's on the Twitter.
And here's the thing, like
Writing's on the Twitter.
writing's on the tweets. So I mean, I've talked about this guy's contract ad nauseum. He's got $22.84 million already guaranteed for next year. But on the third day of the next calendar year, he gets another $19.5 million for 2027. Like, they are going to move on from this guy, and it's going to be lightning quick. As soon as they can, they're going to just eat that $22 million and get him off the books. His dead money, is $57 million. He's got a $53 million cap hit. They can chop that thing in half using the June 1st cut and save $24 million against the cap and not have to pay the $19.5 million in salary in 2027 if they get rid of him.
Yeah, and shame on Kyler for hiding the monster of Michael Wilson from us over the last couple of years. Shame on you. When we had an alpha out there and we didn't even know.
Is it shame on him or shame on Michael Pittman Jr.? Or not Michael Pittman Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr. It's one of the.
It's one or the other.
Michael,
who tweeted out? Somebody tweeted out, and they're like, "Oh man, when Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't play, you got Marvin Harrison Sr. out there." Like, it's good, it's great.
That's a good one.
You want to go? I'll go last, I guess.
Yeah, I can go here. I went with Brian Thomas.
All right.
He made the list.
He made your list.
I have all positions.
You picked one for each. Yeah,
He's my wide receiver.
For me, it was Marvin Harrison.
Make up your mind, dude.
I don't know. It was somebody with a junior at the end of their name. Michael Pittman Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., some junior, Ken Griffey Jr., I don't know. But
Junior.
Brian Thomas Jr. last year.
Henry Jones Jr.
And granted, it was kind of a bad year. He was wide receiver 4 at 16.7 points, which is a pretty low number to be wide receiver 4, but still, wide receiver 4 in the season. He only has one game above his average from last year.
Yeah.
And in fact, he only has one game above 12 points this year.
It's been bad.
He's been really, really bad this year. On the season, he is averaging 10.2 points, buoyed by one 23-point game.
Yep.
His next best games are 11.7 and 10.6.
Dude, I looked at him. It was bad.
It was a brutal season, especially, factoring that it's not because Travis Hunter was taking over. I could have accepted that a little more if it was just like they love Travis Hunter and they're getting him tons of targets and blah, blah. No, he had every opportunity.
I wonder if he's one of these guys.
I
wonder if he's one of these guys, though, that we hear after the season how bad, like, some of the injuries.
The wrist injury was?
Maybe.
Yeah, some of the injuries he was dealing with kind of were.
Maybe, but.
Because he's not looked remotely the same. Than he did his rookie.
And I remember saying it, and look, I got crushed last year, and it was what it was. But like, he had quite a few of those.
Crushed.
I did get crushed.
As big as your
vindication
Smith-Njigba was. Your Brian Thomas was probably just as big.
It was.
Man, that got hate for like a month.
Oh my gosh, it kept resurfacing, and so then like, guys, I said that like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, chill out.
He's
like herpes, it just kept coming back.
Garrett said, I think Brian Thomas is a sell high, and Garrett got shit on for over a month.
Oh my gosh, like, dude, people called me the R word. Like, bro, like, I got crazy stuff in my DMs. Like,
called you rich?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Unbelievable. What a compliment.
It was crazy. But he had quite a few plays last year that were like broken coverage, and so you add 2 or 3 60-yard touchdowns to your resume. That helps things quite a bit.
Of course.
But I also think part of it might have been Mac Jones. Mac Jones and him looked pretty good together. So we'll see all that plays out. But Brian Thomas Jr., where you were drafting him in the second round, he did not return value this year at all.
Yeah, he's on my list for receiver for least valuable player. Isaiah Pacheco at running back, who averaged 6.9 points per game. T.J. Hawkinson at tight end, who was tight end 22, averaged 7.8 points per game.
This year? Jeez.
That's JJ.
No kidding.
But my number one LVP is a guy who played all year long, averaged 12.2.
Same position?
12.2 points per game.
I knew it. I almost went with him.
7 out of 13 games, he had under 10 points. 7 out of 13 games. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is really bad for like a wide receiver, running back, or tight end. Nope, that's quarterback. That's Tua Tagovailoa.
You picked Tua as your LVP?
Dude, he was quarterback 22. He averaged 12.2 points per game. 7 out of 13 games, he had under 10 points at quarterback. Under 10
But you
points.
drafted him so late.
Listen, if you're in Superflex and you're putting him in there,
I thought you were going Justin Jefferson. That's who I thought you were going with, and I was like, I could have seen that.
Listen, that would have been fine too. No, Tua Tagovailoa.
He doesn't want to bash JJ McCarthy. That's why he didn't pick him.
Like, dude, when you have a quarterback, like I always say, like when you have a guy who's like, he's quarterback like 18, 19, it's pretty good. He's averaging worse than like tight ends at times. You know what I mean? Like, he was under 10 points in so many games. He's absolutely crushed teams where you're like, hey, dude, like if you're a Superflex team and you're going this year, right? A guy who led the NFL and just a couple years ago and passed it, and you're like, oh, quarterback 2 is my quarterback 2. My other team's beastie. You couldn't even start him in your Superflex league. So if you relied on him, he sunk your team so bad. He's been so least valuable to your team.
If this doesn't sum it up, I have got Tua as my backup quarterback. Josh Allen is my starter. The 1 week I needed to use him was the week Tua played in Cleveland, and there was supposed to be terrible weather, and I had Tua and Dylan Gabriel, 2 5'10" lefties, when there was supposed to be like 60-mile-an-hour winds, and I was trying like hell to just like go out and trade. No one would trade with me, so I was trying to figure out whether I was going to start Tua or Dylan Gabriel. Like that's how bad Tua's year was this year. I had to use him 1 week.
Like where's Jacoby Brissett?
And I was exactly. Like I'm like trying to find anybody else other than Tua to throw in my lineup. And
that's like falling on a balance beam, but both legs are on each side.
And look, I ended up starting him. It was a 1.6 point game. 1.6 points is what he scored against.
It was a brutal game.
Cleveland.
It was a
not good,
game.
Bob.
In my starting lineup, the 1 week I needed him.
All right, so least valuable to most valuable. Who did you guys pick as your MVP for
this? Was a no-brainer for me.
I thought it was. And then I thought differently. And I'll explain why. Go ahead.
No brainer for me, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Me too.
Wide receiver 1, averaging 22.1 points per game. Only scored under 10 once all year long.
He was fantastic.
9 out of 13 games. He had over 20 points in PPR leagues. That's not Tua. That's JSN. What a monumental leap to establish himself as where you could take this guy in a 1 QB league, number 1 overall at 23 years old. And it's not just the fantasy points that's out there. All the metrics, every metric at receiver, from separation, getting open, every win, he has just absolutely thrived in doing things that haven't been done.
All levels of the field.
Yes.
He gets a ton of separation. The balls that Sam Darnold, they're just dropping into the bucket. Like insane stuff is happening there. And I'm just so jealous, I guess, is the word, that they were able to go get Sam Darnold, and then everything just kind of fell into place there in Seattle, and the Browns keep spinning their wheels.
We saw a little bit coming on at the end of last year. We saw JSN coming on at the end of last year, and again, you'd find me hard pressed to take any other receiver over him.
He has moved to my
right now.
I moved him about 2-3 weeks ago, officially over Chase, officially over Puka, officially over all those guys.
Yeah. Dude, rightfully so. I think I still have Chase ahead of him right now, but like in 1 QB, it goes Chase, it goes JSN, and then it goes Bijan in 1 QB for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I went a different route. At first, that was the layup for me too, and I was like, this is easy. And then I was like, but I was going to use him in this category for my right pick of the year. I was like, but I want to stick with what's best, and so he's MVP. But then as I was looking through positions, I was like, actually, I think Trey McBride is the fantasy football MVP this season. Look at what he has done this year. 18.1 points per game on total points. Insane. He hasn't missed a game. Yep. That would be wide receiver 4. If you put it any sort of tight end premium, he has scored more points per game than JSN. More than JSN. And JSN is getting to go up against like, okay, you don't have JSN, but at least I have CeeDee Lamb, or at least I have Puka Nacua. If you don't have Trey McBride this year, you don't have basically anything else. Brock Bowers is the next closest at 15.3, almost 3 points separation between 1 and 2. And Brock Bowers missed time, so you lost some weeks in there of production as well. But then once you go down into 6, that's 12.7 points per game. 18 versus 12.7. The difference maker that Trey McBride was for your fantasy team, whether it was tight end premium or not, was huge. But if there was a premium, he absolutely carried you week in and week out. And so even though I think JSN is a very deserving candidate, for me, the positional scarcity mixed with just how freaking well he's played, I had to go with Trey McBride on that one.
It's a good one. It really is.
Really good
it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I was looking at the running back now. He would have been running back 6 or something. You know what I mean? Like from a points per game basis, that is sick, man. That you can get that kind of production out of any tight end whenever you do that. Like you said, those are the kind of guys that kind of waltz you right through the whole year and into the
Such an
playoffs. And
advantage.
Yeah, guys like that are like, we talk about positional value. There's only a couple, him, Brock Bowers, really right now, the only guys out there. We saw it before, like Gronkowski. Those guys single-handedly make the huge, massive difference. If you get one of those guys, they are most valuable to your team because they give you
Travis Kelce was that way for a long time.
Like say you play in a standard 1 QB league, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and that's it, right? Essentially, no flex even. That gives you 4 wide receivers, and he's giving you wide receiver 1 numbers. So if you have like 3 really good receivers, nobody's beating you.
Nope.
So, all right. That's it. We'll be back tomorrow's show with more Dynasty Fantasy Football. As we enter this offseason, never forget, I know they just opened some more contests, some more rabbit contests, which are absolutely fantastic for the season. Fast Draft, you go check them out. Download the app, Fast Draft. If you use the promo code NERDS, you're going to match your deposit up to $100. But on top of that, we're going to give you a free year membership to Dynasty Nerds. You're going to get the Nerd Herds. You're going to get access to that film room. That's the most important thing. All our rookie content, #1 in the industry, if you ask me.
Or most people.
If you just ask anyone. Ask anyone. Ask a friend.
The film room, all 22 film, you get access to that, the Nerd Score Plus, all the tools, the app. Use that promo code NERDS, and we're going to give you a free year. If you're already a member, we're going to send you a gift certificate to the merch store. We'll be back tomorrow with more Dynasty Fantasy Football.
Adios.